So, what if I told you the secret to success isn't really about managing your time or your money? What if it's about something way more valuable? Today, we're going to break down a really powerful framework that can help you protect your single most finite resource, your mental bandwidth.
This quote, it really flips the script on what we think success looks like, doesn't it? I mean, we're all taught to see a jam-packed calendar as some kind of badge of honor. But what if it's actually a sign that you're not in control, that you've just become a pawn in somebody else's game?
So how does this even happen? Well, let's start with something we can all relate to, the morning routine. It seems so innocent, but a lot of the time it's actually a trap that siphons off our mental energy before the day even gets going. I mean, think about it. That horrible alarm goes off, and what's the first thing you do? You grab your phone, and instantly, bam, you're hit with a tidal wave of emails, news headlines, and social media notifications. This isn't waking you up, it's hijacking your brain and forcing you into a reactive mode from minute one.
And here's the real cost of all that morning chaos. By the time you sit down to do your most important work, your mental battery is already seriously drained. You're starting the race with a handicap, with only a fraction of your peak brain power available.
And this gets to the heart of it. We've been sold this idea that being busy is a good thing, that it means you're important. But maybe it's the exact opposite. Maybe it's a symptom of having your most precious resource, your attention, stolen by things that just don't matter.
Okay, so how do we actually fix this? The solution isn't about working harder or even managing your time better in the traditional sense. No, it's about understanding and, more importantly, managing your cognitive bandwidth.
So here's the big idea. Your brain isn't some supercomputer that can run 24/7. It's more like a battery. It has a limited, finite charge every single day. Every little decision, every notification, every distraction, it all uses up a piece of that charge. And once it's gone for the day, it is gone.
This means you have to make a choice. Are you treating your brain like a cheap engine that you can just redline all day, every day, or are you protecting it like the priceless asset it is? The goal here isn't to do more stuff. It's to make better, more accurate decisions. It's a huge shift from valuing activity to valuing accuracy. All right, let's get practical. How do we do this? It all comes down to 3 specific actionable habits. And these aren't just little tips. They're basically a new operating system for protecting that mental battery of yours. Okay, habit number 1. This is all about changing the way you consume information. You have to stop being a passive consumer, just taking whatever the internet throws at you, and start being a strategic, a geologist of knowledge.
You know, most people are like gold panners, constantly sifting through the river of daily news, looking for tiny little nuggets of information that are basically worthless by tomorrow. You want to be a geologist. A geologist doesn't chase shiny objects. They study the entire mountain to understand the deep, fundamental structures underneath.
So this is what a geologist's reading list looks like. Instead of scrolling headlines, you're digging into things that build a durable, lasting map of reality in your head. And when you do this, your knowledge starts to compound, just like money in a bank account. And pretty soon, you start seeing big-picture patterns that are totally invisible to everyone else. All right, habit number 2. Once you're managing your information diet, you have to protect your time. I mean, think about it. Time is the one thing you can never, ever buy more of. So you have to defend it like a fortress. I love this story from Warren Buffett because it just nails the point. Truly effective people don't have calendars that are packed back to back. They have calendars filled with blank space. And that empty space isn't a sign of laziness. It's room for deep thinking. It's where the real value gets created.
And here is a super powerful tool to help you do this, the 25-5 rule. It's simple. Write down your top 25 goals in life. Then circle your top 5. Now here's the most important part. The other 20 goals you didn't circle, they are not your runner-up priorities. They are your enemies. They are the good ideas that will distract you from your great ones.
Okay, this last habit, this might be the most important one of all. Because this is what gives you the courage and the strength to actually live by the other 2. It's about building your emotional foundation. So it all comes down to a fundamental choice. Are you measuring your life by the world's outer scorecard? Things like job titles, how many followers you have, the car you drive? Or do you live by your own inner scorecard, a set of standards based on your own values and your own logic? Because outsourcing your self-esteem to the crowd is a guaranteed recipe for misery. Here's a quick little thought experiment that gets right to the heart of it. It forces you to ask yourself, what do I really care about? The reality of who I am or the perception other people have of me? Your gut answer tells you everything you need to know about which scorecard you're truly using.
And that's the real power of the inner scorecard. It's what gives you the courage to say no, to have that empty calendar, to sit in a quiet room and just think. It allows you to act on your own logic instead of just chasing applause. You get to stay rational when everyone else is freaking out.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this real. Action is what creates change. So I've got a direct challenge for you to take on, and you can start it literally right now. Here's your mission. I want you to do a quick social portfolio audit. Look at all the inputs in your day. Is it a news alert you don't need? A social media feed that just makes you feel bad? A meeting that could have been an email? Find just one thing that's draining your battery without adding any real value, and just cut it today. Because in the end, it all comes down to this. Your goal isn't to be the busiest person you know. It's to be the most effective decision maker. And that requires protecting that cognitive battery with everything you've got. Because that is where real value and true wealth is created. So the only question left is, what are you protecting yours from?